And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Worry about my posse getting jumped. Cause if we ever do, yo, TB, pop the trunk. Cause we make a pop the trunk and hit the switch.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me a boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, now?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
We're Jalen Jacoby. What do?
We get a people. What they want.
You're going to pass out one day, Jalen Rose.
Later on in the show, we will be joined by Jim Jones and Cameron of the Diplomats. The Dipset will be in the building. But first, we start in Denver. Last night, the Lakers were in town. Okay. And it got ugly. The Lakers lost to the Nuggets by 32 points. LeBron James, you know LeBron James, right?
Yep, heard of him.
2 assists.
Wow.
5 for 15 from the field. Didn't have a field goal in the second half. Jalen did not score a bucket in the second half. What went so wrong with the Lakers, and is this indicative of a bigger problem?
First and foremost, we're going to always spin it to what's wrong with the Lakers instead of flat out acknowledging the Denver Nuggets have a better record than they do.
The Lakers have a gentleman by the name of LeBron James, and at ESPN we have to talk about LeBron James.
Got it. So let me talk about what went wrong for LeBron James. Not to get too technical, but
get too technical.
Jokic, who plays center. For those who follow our show, I like to do the distinction between skill bigs like AD and Boogie and Jokic, guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot. Draymond Green.
Jokic
For the will bigs like Steven Adams, DeAndre Jordan, and the Lakers have 2 of them, and JaVale McGee and Tyson Chandler. So on the offensive side, Jokic is able to step away from the basket, clearly takes JaVale McGee and Tyson out of their comfort zone, guard not on the floor. Dribble handoffs, open jump shots, back doors. And on the other end, since those guys are primarily there to catch lobs on the offensive side of the ball, he was just clogging up the paint. And every one of those highlights you just showed, when LeBron James drove, Jokic was standing right there. So they had a terrific plan against LeBron James to keep him out of the paint. The Lakers struggled shooting outside the paint. They struggled mightily from 3, and they lost big time in Denver.
I don't think this Lakers roster is going to be the Lakers roster when it starts to get warmer. Let's just say that. How do you think they're going to make a move? Who do you think they make a move for? Are they going to pick somebody up like Tyson Chandler, or are they going to trade some of their young core?
So it's tough because if you look at the Lakers, it's a set of 2 teams. You have the 1-year contract veterans. Beasley, Rondo, Lance. Okay? And then you have the rookie contract players that you want to show promise. Ball, Ingram, Kuzma, and Hart. So you can't really get real value for the guys under rookie contracts. There isn't much value for the guys on 1-year contracts. However, the person that they did pay the last couple of years a lot of money to play basketball, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. That now becomes an asset that you try to pair with one of your young players and see if you can get an all-star level player in return. The problem is, I don't think you get an all-star level in return for one of the Lakers' young core if it's not Kuzma. I don't think you get it for Ingram. I don't think you get it for Ball. So if a team like Washington wants to move a Bradley Beal, that doesn't get the deal done. So it's going to be interesting to see how they remake this roster.
The Nuggets are one of the best teams in the Western Conference, but they don't get talked about too much, especially on these sort of like national shows. And that they don't have a lot of like big fans outside of Denver. And a team like the Warriors, or the Lakers, they do have that kind of national following. And those fans find their way into the Nuggets arena, and Mike Malone was asked about that. Let's listen.
We don't want any converse. You're either with us or you're against us. And we understand when we play these greats, LeBron is arguably the best player ever. And when he comes to town, and the Lakers, their fans carry. But as long as their fans go home disappointed, that's all I care about. So the Warrior fans can come in here, the Celtic fans can come in here, Laker fans come in here. But take that L on the way out.
Ooh, take that
L on the way out. I love that so much from Mike Malone. Shout out to him. Moving on. Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
The team with the best record in the NBA, the team with the very best record in the NBA right now is a little bit of a surprise. It's the Toronto Raptors. They beat the Grizzlies yesterday. They are now 18-4. In my mind, I would say the Raptors are the team to beat in the East. If there was one team right now that you said, who is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, I would say the Toronto Raptors. Do you agree?
I definitely agree with you, and a lot of people underestimate the fact that the Toronto Raptors had the #1 seed last season.
Yep.
And added Kawhi Leonard, added Danny Green, solidified them on the perimeter, allowed Serge Ibaka to play a lot of small ball center when you don't want Valanciunas in there. They got one of the best backup point guards in Van Vliet, who's been playing well all season. Pascal Siakam gives them scoring and defense on the wing. Like, they're a complete basketball team that can play multiple styles.
They're deep. We haven't talked about right. Like, they're deep.
Absolutely.
They're very deep. And I really like the way that they've sort of adjusted their offense in the last couple of years. I really think that they've brought themselves into 2018. And I was big high on the Bucks earlier. And I know the Sixers got Jimmy Butler. The Celtics obviously have their struggles. But right now, the Raptors are the team to beat in the East.
And when you look amongst the league leaders in assists, all of these top guards in the game, Kyle Lowry.
I know.
How about that? A perennial all-star, in theory, is also playing a lot better basketball. So shout out to the Raptors to get it done.
I used to slander Kyle Lowry. I just want to say, Kyle, I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I used to slander you on national television, and I'm sorry. Kyle Lowry, I apologize. Please accept my apology. Moving on. The greatest show in basketball was back last night. Zion and Duke has me excited about college basketball again. They played Indiana, and of course Zion Williamson did Zion Williamson things like this. I mean, I don't know how he gets all these dunks, Jalen. Like, look at this. He's getting steals, windmills. It's just impressive what he has done. And obviously, he played great last night. He put up 25 points. 11 for 15 shooting, Jalen. 11 for 15. Do you think Zion Williamson or R.J. Barrett is a better pro prospect?
6 of those were dunks. And so when you look at R.J. Barrett, look at today's NBA landscape. The top players, other than the primary ball handlers like point guards, Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, Kyrie Irving, those type players.
Or your centers.
You got to match up on the wing with LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, KD. So if you could get a young player that's going to make them work defensively, yet he can compete offensively and still put up big numbers, you got to think about that. However, Zion's ceiling is so high. He's the most unique athlete that we've seen in collegiate basketball. He's good on his feet. He has good hands. If he's able to get a jump shot, lights out for the NBA. You have to bet on that. Therefore, he would be my number one.
I think if I was a GM, I just wouldn't want to pass up on Zion. You know what I mean?
You can't be the guy that passed up on Zion.
Yeah, there's a part of you that says, like, R.J. Barrett's perfectly constructed for today's NBA, and he's already got all the tools that we need. Like, he's the perfect prototype for today's NBA, but I could not pass on Zion. I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. It is Wednesday, and every Wednesday we celebrate the more intelligent, more responsible, and just generally superior gender of our species, the ladies. We take all female voicemails. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show like this one.
Hi, Jalen Jacoby. I was at my first Portland Trail Blazers game, and I was trolling Kyrie Irving, and I was spitting some earth facts at him. And I was wondering, as a newer sports fan, is it okay or not okay to be trolling the visiting team? Recently, I watched the Nike commercial, and he seems like a nice guy, so I feel really bad.
I love that she feels bad. Call. She feels bad. She's like, I was sitting there yelling at Kyrie Irving, making fun of his Flat Earth series all night long, and he seems like a nice guy, so now I feel bad. What advice do you have for this young caller?
I have a couple of notes of advice. First off, how you were trolling Kyrie is perfectly within the realms and constraints of what the opposing team should feel.
Okay.
You weren't cursing him. You weren't talking about personal things in his family. You were talking about something he said that a lot of people felt like was a dumb comment.
It was.
And he clearly ignored her because she didn't say that he responded. Now, the latter part of she saw the Nike commercial and felt bad, what it is sometimes you're sitting in the stands and it dehumanizes you from the people on the floor.
Yes.
And then now you get a chance to meet them or hear about them in other aspects, and you're like, oh, he may not be that bad of a guy. Continue to root for Portland.
Yeah, love Portland.
Continue to troll
Troll away.
of the opponents.
Troll away.
You got a terrific backcourt in Lillard and CJ. This was inbounds. I totally support this behavior.
And the man said the earth was flat. You know what I mean? He said the earth was flat. You're allowed to troll him.
Yep. As a young boy, Gavin loved playing football. He lived and breathed it, wanted to go pro. Why, he'd spend hours upon hours just practicing his touchdown dances. And one day, while getting fitted for bifocals, he realized he was never much good at throwing, or running, or catching, or even kicking. Yeah, Gavin's chances of playing pro football were looking like 4th and long. Very long. But he did hear how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. Then he did kind of a touchdown dance. At least he was still good at that.
We have the honor,
Dipset,
to have in the building,
Dipset,
Cameron, Jim Jones of the Diplomats. Thank you so much for coming by, fellas. We appreciate it.
Jones!
Appreciate it so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having us.
Kill him!
Diplomatic Ties is the new album. It's been 14 years.
Right.
14 years. It's been a long time.
Right.
Since I left you.
Exactly, without a new album to step to. Thank you so much for giving that to us. We appreciate it. My question now is, what took so long?
Life, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what it is. I'm gonna be honest, and what I tell people all the time. Like, so, you know, me personally and Jim, he been down since my first album, and we just come from an era where, you know, I tell people we was raised like pit bulls. So it ain't like, and not in a bad way, I'm saying that where it isn't like we all need each other to make some money. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was turbulence, we was on good terms or bad terms, we all know how to go out and get $1. So sometimes that put the group on backhold because everybody's financial situation is right. You know what I'm saying? It isn't like Jim needs me to go make some money, or I need Jim or Jewels or any of us. We all know how to go out and make $1. So whether we're on good terms or bad terms, we're like, our financial life is straight, our kids are straight, but it's good that we all got back together to do this for the people. And it was fun for us too. I had a great time doing it.
Jim, how do it feel to be back reunited with your brothers?
I'm hyped. I feel like a kid, like a kid in high school again. You know, it's that certain camaraderie. We like Cam said, even before the first album, we've known each other since teenagers. So to see what we've done, to, like he said, be able to set a platform for all of us to make money with each other and on separate regards, and then come back with another. I've been waiting to do this for a long time, to tell you the truth. Like we've been trying, and couldn't actually get it together. And then, you know, by the grace of God, and shout out to Toom. I always say this, Toom Bossa over at YouTube. He's one of the people that kind of sparked the fire in helping us put this whole thing together.
Harlem's definitely the flyest borough.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, we
thank you for noticing.
Take that compliment.
Definitely.
It's been an ongoing battle for years.
Ain't really no debate though. I'm gonna get on
from Detroit, know that. Y'all had the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah. Now Detroit get fly too though.
Yeah, but we
Detroit, y'all get a different type of fly. Y'all were rocking glasses with diamonds in them and all type of
right.
Fur coats and all that.
Detroit just one of the Maury's.
Exactly. Or Maury Gators.
Yeah.
All of that.
I had every Maury sneaker you could have, man. Then when I got to Detroit,
they different.
I found the store with some all type of Maury's.
I just keep remembering Tommy Hearns walking in that concert with that big white fur on that one time. They different out here.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Big, long white fur, Tommy Hearns.
Yeah. And I have to give you guys a shout for the culture, because you guys are not only talented, but you've been leaders, trendsetters, innovators. Like, how does it feel when you turn on TV or you look at other videos and hear other people's sound, and you like, we birthed that?
Well, you know, I never like disrespect the generation underneath coming up, because you got to realize it's like this, Jay. Whatever you was listening to, your parents may be like, what's that noise? You know what I'm saying? What is that? I don't understand it. So if you end up doing that, you just seem like an old hag or somebody who's grumpy. You got to let them grow up and enjoy what they enjoy. But as far as them showing love and respecting what Dipset brought to the table, that's still going on. So we show everybody love, man.
It's a great feeling, though.
Yeah.
Just to see all the new generation paying homage when they see us, and then just like.
And then not to cut you off, Jim, but we still get drippy.
No doubt.
So they like you can front on us like, they'll sit there and look us
TV,
in.
movies.
Yeah, absolutely. So It ain't like we some washed up dudes. We still get drippy and we still talk that talk. So anybody want to come address us about anything, hello.
Well, Jim, you are a part of one of my favorite basketball memories. And
Yes.
I used to go to the Kingdom games on Friday night, and I remember watching the 8th grader Lance Stevenson specifically dominate out there in Homicide and explain to Jalen, who wasn't there, the environment in those games.
You wasn't there.
Kingdom games, my favorite.
That's where I fell in love with Lance Stevenson.
Oh man, my favorite.
Remember watching you every Friday night on the court.
Me?
No, you were walking through the court like
that's my projects. Yeah, but it's funny to hear you saying, that's definitely my projects, 100%. But remember Artest and his little brother used to go.
We're gonna ask for the stories.
You like walking? I see some footage. I got some.
But I would be at the games watching. I'd be like, is he a ref? Is he a coach? He's just walking through the game.
Repping the hood.
Kind of like ownership.
Keeping everybody in line, you know. Making sure everybody do what they supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Kingdom was in the middle of Foster Projects, and Foster Projects is one of the most notorious gang-banging projects that started in Harlem and things like that. But this basketball tournament was one of the things during the weekend that bring a lot of unity together within the hood. And these are some of the tournaments where I seen Cam start cooking dudes up on the basketball court, and I can name so many after that. And like he said, Lance Stevenson started out there. We was talking about Ron Artest and them earlier. You could go on for the Jones brothers, Charles Jones. It's just so many greats came out of Kingdom Park. Just the excitement, man. You know, and that's my hood. That's where I grew up at.
Yeah. What he's referring to is how you was just walking around the basketball court.
Yeah, because I go there. I'd be like, why is Jim Jones? Is he in? He's not playing in the game.
He's pulling strings, Jacoby.
He's just walking through
pulling strings.
Like in the middle of the play.
That's my backyard. Like you look out that's where I grew. That's where I grew up playing basketball. I learned how to play basketball out in the middle.
I wasn't walking through the floor. I was staying quiet in the corner, just watching.
It's good. You know, you get some success and you come back to the hood, and you know how I go, man. You trying to shine, and that's what I was doing as a young fella. But I love my hood. I love Harlem. So you know, that's the whole. The basketball is a big thing, a big thing in Harlem, especially in the summer times. It's Rucker tournaments, it's Dykeman tournaments, it's Kingdom tournaments, and that's all through New York in general and things like that. So
yeah, like the wave right now, to be honest, is Dykeman. It kind of quiet down from Rucker. Everybody goes to Dykeman now, but basketball is just really big. It's not really a football town. You know what I tell people when I started traveling and went away to college to play ball, is that we just don't get tall guys in New York, man. Everybody knows how to dribble. Like, if you hit somebody with a cross and get an ooh, that's like worth 12 points. You get
a nickname and everything.
You know what I mean? So, you know, we don't get a lot of tall guys, but we definitely know how to dribble and shake somebody and go to the basket. We didn't have a lot of jump shots either back then, but it's definitely fun to play basketball in New York. Everybody wants to come here and play.
As veterans in the industry, it always fascinates me how talented people like yourselves are able to reinvent yourselves to stay relevant. Can you just talk to our audience and even future artists of like how you've continued to progress as an artist, as a man that had the staying power, each of you guys, for so very long?
Oh man, I mean, you got to stay ahead of the cusp, especially when you're dealing with a game that's kind of like has a high school mentality. You got to be able to reinvent yourself. You got to be able to persevere through the hard times. Like, every day is not going to be a lit day, especially when you have so much of a long span of a career. You got to know there's going to come with some up and downs. But overall, being lucky, the grace of God, and putting your best foot forward. As cliche as it may sound, and work hard, but we grind real hard for everything we got. I tell you that. It's been a lot of sleepless nights that we put on to put food on the table for the family.
I ain't going to lie, like, that's a great question, Jay, because you don't know how many times I be in a mirror with different outfits of furs, a hats, like, now I'm going to change up this one. I'm going to have everybody start doing this right now. That's the case, man. Oh, they want to do this? Like, nah, we want to reinvent. To reinvent, it's not easy, man. It's not. You don't know what you got to do.
You don't know what fur you got to use to reinvent.
Put a fur around your head or around your neck. I just bought some skins the other day. Like, I'm looking at, I got a fox where I'm trying to put some eyes in it. Like, it's not hard, it's not easy, man. As far as music, though, I think that comes so natural because we've been doing it so long, and, you know, growing up and just in a, you know, we all lived in a radius, and as far as me, and you don't realize the talent you grew up around growing up. Like, I grew up directly across the street from Big L. I grew up 2 floors from Max B, who Jim had signed. I grew up from, I don't even know if y'all familiar with Ali Mo, 2-3 blocks away from me. I grew up with Sham Guard, who coaches for the Dallas Mavericks now. Act the real 2 blocks away from me. So it's like this melting pot of so many different things in one little area that you have to stay ahead of the game. Even like getting fresh, like God bless the dead, my brother Hud, and even Jim, we would sit there and think we killing them because we may go get the Gore-Tex before they got it. Then by the time you get to him, he got the Gore-Tex. You know, I'm talking about 14-year-olds with $180 sneakers when that was just ridiculous to have at that particular time. But like you said, just trying to stay ahead of the game, but it's not easy, baby, because right now everybody's just doing anything to get attention.
Yeah. Now, you don't know, we used to watch all of the specials about your team when we
that's love.
Like, what? Yo, like, tell them, love.
Anything y'all want to talk about?
Jalen and Jimmy Alley, you back in the back park. We had the biddies in the back park. It was
everything, man.
Yeah, that's dope.
Everything.
Man, Jacoby, when he was talking about like changing up styles and trends, you sound just like me.
Yeah.
I do the exact same thing.
I figure it out, man.
I won't ask you this on wax, but off wax, you look back at a couple outfits and be like, oh, what was I doing that day?
Absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, I was
all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because especially like when, like 02, 03, like I look at pictures and be like, why are my clothes this big, man?
All of ours was.
Yes.
All of ours.
I had size 46 jeans.
Yeah.
46 waist. I would just go to the store and be like, what's the biggest waist size you got?
Yeah, exactly. Like I was looking at some joint, I was like, the Kanye video, Down and Out. I had some joints on her, like.
Yo, we had shorts, you couldn't even see your sneakers. The shorts were just as long as the jeans.
Yeah.
There was the white T-shirt summer when it was just like whoever could get the biggest white T-shirt.
Yeah, we OD'd on that. That was Brazzy.
Yeah.
Started with the long.
We was wearing the big clothes, but we was wearing the big jewels too. That came with that era.
You had to have it. You couldn't not have no little chain on with the big
jewels.
clothes.
Multiple bracelets, multiple chains.
You had to be chunky out there. Slick Rickish out there.
No doubt.
Definitely.
You know, it's all coming back too.
Yeah, it's coming back. There's a lot of heavy jewelry out there.
Like the throwback jerseys.
Right.
All that, like 2002.
Jerseys never really go nowhere. They might take a quick pause, but sports is sports. You know what I mean? Like the young kids coming up all come up to love sports. So that's all always going to be part of the drip is a mean jersey.
What I think is too, depending on who have the wave at the time, they kind of sometimes be dictating it and try to sweep things on the run. Like Jay-Z, I'm talking about, he'll sit there and be like, talking about the jersey stuff. He'll be like, I'm a grown man.
I ain't wearing no jersey.
I ain't wearing no jersey. So then it's like, oh, I don't want to wear jersey.
No auto-tone.
Right, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
everybody had the straight button-ups. Remember Jay had everybody wearing straight button-ups?
Right.
Yeah, but as you said, when you whoever popping, you dictate what's going on. Like
it's like even, well, y'all guys are older as us anyway, but it's like Kwame had people wear polka dots, and then Biggie said played out like Kwame in the polka dots.
It was not a polka dot war nowhere.
And cut the blonde out of your hair.
My flats out. Yeah, exactly. So it's like we got the waves.
You can't trust all the waves though. Some of the waves is wild out there right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
They going way far to get their point across. I be scared sometimes. I don't even know what to do. Like I can't.
That's why I just made my mind up. I ain't following all of it. I'm good. I'm good.
This is where you draw the line.
Yeah,
right? Like,
I'm good.
cool.
I'm good.
That's what I said.
Skinny jeans, I was like, I can't.
I said I'm gonna go because it's a different. I'm gonna slim them down. I'm not going skinny. Yeah. I'm gonna go a little slim because you can't be crazy
be too
out
big,
here. But that's as far as I'm going.
I'm not laying on the bed to put on the pants. that ain't happening.
I'm not using my fork.
That ain't happening. I'm good.
Asking your girl to help you get your jeans on. Role reversal. Like, yo, what's going on?
Cedric Entertainer said, if you got to jump up and down to put your jeans on, then it's crazy.
I don't want to be like I'm looking at guys' jeans, but it's like, yo, bro, joints is a little tight. You heard? You can't even put a dollar bill in there. You gotta walk around with all credit cards, but one credit card at that. There's a difference between fashion and splashing. Let's get that.
Preach.
Let's get that.
Preach.
Explain to me.
Preach.
Teach me the difference.
There's a big difference between fashion and splashing. Like you know, fashion is runway. All these weird outfits, and you get the biggest shoes you could get before the next dude get the biggest shoes you could get. Where I'm from, we appreciate splashing. We like the ladies' opinion on what they think is fly and things like that. So that's what we dressing for. There's a lot of fashion is weird.
Sometimes I think, like when we was talking about reinventing ourselves, these dudes haven't been invented yet, and they just jumping out the window.
Ain't gonna be nothing left to reinvent. Just did it all at once.
I just think with certain, and I'm not just talking about athletes, just, and people in the spotlight in general do so much to stand out that sometimes it just looks ridiculous, but I can respect it to a certain extent because they just not trying to fit in, they just doing too much to stand out. But what I tell people all the time, you can't smell drip without that DIP.
Ooh, Dipset.
Okay. Well, they won't say it, but I'll say it. Those are all soft moves. Knicks had a game last night, and at the end of the quarter, you see Tim Hardaway Jr. here, and he's in Detroit against Jalen's Pistons, hits a buzzer beater, right? And here's his pop in the stands, doesn't even react. No reaction whatsoever from his son's big moment.
He still got the hoop? MJ still rocking his too.
Soft move or boss move, not reacting when your son gets a bucket?
Boss move. He too cool. That's Hardaway, first of all, where the crossover was made. Like, you got to impress your pops for him to get up and do something that he never seen before. Like, that was subpar. Jump shot, he used to that.
I agree with Jim and say it's a boss move because, okay, what's the record? Where we going with the Knicks?
Okay.
I have not been alive, and neither is Jim, and people are dying out here. People
over this New York.
No, people are dying every day. Have never seen the Knicks win a championship to this day. Like
1973.
No, for real, the Knicks, bro. We put out hard on the Knicks, bro.
We have never seen the Knicks win a championship.
We had one time, man.
I'm talking about. I could have been 3 months old. We have not seen it.
So here's a question then. So they're talking about a lot of big free agents coming to the Knicks. Everyone's kind of waiting for this. They got Fizdale there. They got this new coach. Would you rather see Kemba, KD, or Kyrie in the Knicks jersey?
We want all three of them. All three of them. Why we can't get? We need a cheat
super
code.
Team.
Like, let us get a super team. We're in New York, big city. Like, let us get all of them.
To be honest with you, Kemba's my man. He's from the Bronx. Kemba's dangerous, but who wouldn't want KD, that's one of the top 2-3 players in the world, to be on your team? And no disrespect to Kyrie, and no disrespect to Kemba, because Kemba's my man. If Kemba came to New York, it'd be lit. But Kyrie, he's dope too, but he's just not getting it done in Boston. I don't know if it's the chemistry or what's going on right now. He was in Cleveland trying to build. Kyrie just needs the pieces around him. Not saying KD doesn't either, but KD is big time. And so, you're not going to go against 6'10", 7'6" wingspan. Come on, KD. Come on.
Can you talk to him for us? Can you talk to him for us, Knicks fans?
Yeah, I mean, KD, my man. We just did KD birthday party. We performed his birthday party.
Shouts to KD.
Come on, K. We waiting on you.
Word up.
Yeah.
All right. So NASA. I love the aliens and space and everything. Jalen doesn't believe in any of this, but they just landed a rover on Mars, and I want to show y'all. See, this is Mars. See, this doesn't impress Jalen at all. They landed a rover on Mars, and here they are, the NASA people, and this is their celebration once the rover lands on Mars. I want you to wait for it. Now they got the handshake. Okay. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Coordinated handshake from NASA.
That's
folks.
Boss move. You don't even think they got that type of coordination.
Definitely a boss move. Boss move. I don't know if that was really Mars and all that.
It looked like an animation.
I'm not wrong.
It looked like a green screen a little bit, but it's cool.
I'm gonna give the 5 a boss move. If that's really Mars, I'm not chiming in. Jalen,
what do you think about all the NBA players doing the complicated handshakes?
What you mean?
Like the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like LeBron had a whole handshake for his whole team.
Everybody on the squad's too much.
I got time to remember all that, bro. Like, yo, I'm gonna be giving you his handshake. Like, I ain't got time for that, man. We had one handshake, and everybody do it in Harlem to this day. Boom. There it is.
Same old two-step.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna disagree. I like it. I like it a little bit because you know why? I'm glad they brought it back in the NFL where you can celebrate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a little bit of entertainment. You can't. You know what I really miss, Jay?
What's that?
I miss a little bit of taunting, man. I miss the taunting.
Correct.
I miss
From the crowd?
No.
Players taunting each other.
Player to player.
I miss Sean Kemp dunking on you and pointing
Oh,
in
yeah.
your
Martin
face.
Liston.
And just pointing in your
That was
face.
different.
I miss Reggie Miller doing an interview saying John Starks choked. You know that's that. Like it's everything. It's cool to have some camaraderie and be cool with everybody, but if you're an athlete, you work hard, you should be able to talk a little bit.
If you watch Jalen's documentary from the Fab Five, it seems like every time y'all get a bucket, you would have got a technical today.
Yo, bro, I watched that documentary. That was on HBO or Showtime on one of them. Yo, bro, you was wilding.
Yeah. Thank you, family. Appreciate that.
You was doing your numbers.
The game was different. Like Ken, what you're talking about is, I don't know if it's because cats making so much bread now and have so much fame that it's like it ain't even worth
like
it.
Whatever, right?
It's like whatever.
Right. And then it's like even, and I'll talk about it later because I want to talk to you about it with Duke. And they was talking about comparing Duke.
Yeah, go ahead and cook.
Yeah. So basically, I was doing something, so I didn't get the whole gist of it. I don't know if it was Stephen A. or somebody the other day, but I was in the middle and I turned back and they was trying to compare Duke now to the Fab Five. And you was like, yo, you bugging. You can't, this is when they was 1-0.
Right. By the way, 1-0.
Like 1-0. And I'm like, how are you comparing this to the Fab Five? Where it's much different to where it wasn't a one and done situation. And you may stay for at least 3 or 4 years. I know you stayed for 3, Chris stayed for 2. But nowadays, like with this Duke team, there's no discipline on defense because you got Zion or you got Barrett saying, I'm going to get highlights because I know you guys are going to talk about it. I want to be on ESPN. I want to be on the top 10 plays at the end of the game. And I'm not really going to be here after the season's over. I doubt I go back to class. So I don't really think it's a comparison with them against y'all guys. Y'all guys would have smoked them. And by the way, they lost their second and third game.
Right, the 6th game.
Yeah, the 6th game.
You know how
second televised game that I seen.
We was talking about fashion, right? You know how big fashion icons y'all was back then for playing basketball. Like,
good point.
I wore black socks.
The black Harachis, the high top Harachis, the black, that was big in the hood. They was called the weapons. Remember you know what I'm talking about?
No, listen, and like you said, I just didn't mention, I watched that documentary about 100 times. Not just you, because of you guys, you talked about on the documentary, but I was playing high school basketball when you was in college, and to try to stretch these shorts out. Get him that Jalen left. I need that Jalen left right here. I need that Michigan left.
There's the team issued ones, yeah.
We was trying to explain. That's when
OLAPS was hit. So I don't know if you know what OLAPS is. OLAPS is the originating creator of basketball shorts that made them cool and the length that we needed them to wear. That started at a little store in Harlem. He used to make all the colors, the Michigan colors, Chicago Bull colors, and then all the basketball tournaments, the Dykmans, the Kingdoms will go get the uniforms from OLAPS. But if you had a pair of OLAPS on in the summer, those was the first ball shorts before they start putting the pockets in them. And then the big companies, Nike and all them, caught on, and that's why everybody wearing ball shorts. But it started from the little shop in Harlem. Michigan colors.
I wanted to tell you that, man.
Thank you, family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
We really appreciate y'all coming by. Don't forget, Diplomatic Ties, anywhere you can get music.
Get it now.
Get it right now.
Yo, let me tell you something, be honest with you. I woke up at 8:50 from Jersey, bust all type of moves, just everything illegal.
Running through life, turning it back.
I promise you, yo, fam, I was at the tunnel, it was traffic. There was a dude on a scooter. I said, yo, let me hop on that. But he said, yo, you wildin'. I was about to hop on the back of the scooter, B. No helmet or nothing. I said, I'm getting out here, man.
And for our fans, they already let us know they're going to be on at least once a month.
That's back. We're going to hold you to that. It's on wax now.
Putting it on wax.
It is time to look at the NBA. Here we are at the quarter poll and ask, is this really real? So the first one is a little bit for me, Jalen Rose. Because I can't lie. I was low on Trae Young going into the draft. I was low on Trae Young.
Tell you.
Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I was wrong. I think I was wrong about Trae Young.
I've been watching some Hawks games. He is impressive. He shoots from anywhere. He's now averaging 17 points and an impressive 10 assists a game. Granted, he is on the Hawks. He has a lot of opportunity to do those things, but he has impressed me thus far this season. Trae Young being a centerpiece of a franchise, is that really real?
It's really real because it's happening right now in Atlanta. This is why they not only traded for him, giving up Doncic and a pick, but to put him in a position to be that guy that you just described. And when you have the ball handling and the shooting skills that he has, plus the ability to pass and make people around you better, that's going to be infectious for a team. And there were a lot of people that felt maybe he's too small. He didn't play as well the second half of his final year. Was it the competition improved? And I was trying to tell people that his skills would translate. He led the nation in points and assists.
Yeah.
Okay?
He's now averaging a double-double, and there was all this talk about his range and, he's like Steph Curry. There's so many Steph Curry comparisons. You watch the game, he really does shoot from anywhere. Like, you have to cover him 2 steps outside of the three-point line, and he hits, and he confidently shoots. I've been really impressed by Trae Young. Another thing's not bad in Atlanta, he's fun to watch.
Yes.
And that's good.
Yep.
Get people in that building, you know what I mean? They refurbished the arena. Like, he is a really fun to watch. Trae Young, I apologize. I apologize. Sorry. Devin Booker signed an extension with the Suns. Okay, so he's going to be in Phoenix for who knows how long. And he says that he wants the super team to come to him. Jalen Rose, free agents, big-time players, all-stars coming to Phoenix via free agency or trade or whatever. Do you think that is really real? A super team could come to Devin Booker?
I'm not going to say super team because what makes that happen is when you have multiple all-NBA performers.
Yes.
For me, is what makes the term super. The Golden State Warriors are the only one in today's game that exists, in my opinion. With that being said, Phoenix can be a destination for free agents when you have cornerstone players that are game-changing. In Booker, who's a terrific offensive weapon, and Ayton, who they took number 1 overall, who's getting the points, getting the rebounds, giving you the blocks. I do see Phoenix as a place that if they're able to tab the right free agents, get them signed, that could become a destination where people want to go play. And I applaud Devin, Dame Lillard, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, the Greek Freak, all of these guys who got drafted to teams that the national media always wants to put them on large market teams.
You know who I applaud? I applaud
and they re-signed
KD.
and they owned it.
And I applaud LeBron James to playing wherever they want to play. Like, you celebrate players staying on the same team like it's some sort of badge of honor. Guess what? Go play wherever you want to play, KD. Go to New York next year if you want, KD. LeBron, go to Los Angeles because you enjoy the environment. Do it.
I am not mad at LeBron and or KD. These are all-time great players. They can do whatever they want, clearly. But it damages the balance of the league when you have first-team All-NBA players, when you have MVP-type players in their prime, instead of opposing one another, joining up to play against each other, play with each other. Let me give you a better example. At the park, when it's time to pick teams.
I want the best team possible.
Correct. But who gets a chance to pick the teams?
Best players.
Boom! The 2 best players. Okay? It's not the 2 worst players. Because you don't want the 2 best players to be on the same team. I got you there.
You did not get me there.
I got you there.
I don't like picking the teams because I feel like if we win, then I kind of made my team too good, and if we lost, then I didn't make my team good enough.
I don't know where that example came from, but as somebody that plays 100% more basketball than I do, I stumped you there.
You did not, Jalen. It's usually the 2 loudest dudes that pick the teams, or the people that play the most that know the players. Let's move on, though. People don't want to hear about pickup basketball. A lot of people were very high on the Utah Jazz coming into the season, and for good reason. They had a great playoff run last year. Well, if you look up now, they are currently 9-12, and they have the 2nd worst record in the Western Conference. The Utah Jazz. You remember how good it was in the playoffs? It's not good now. Utah Jazz being bad, is that really real?
That is not really real.
Oh, explain to me.
Remember, I'm going to say this right now, okay? They've had the toughest home schedule in the game. Mm-hmm. They've had the 6th overall toughest schedule in the league. Donovan Mitchell has dealt with injuries.
Yep.
Okay, as these things start to balance off and he gets healthy, the Utah Jazz, when you start to look at the Western Conference standings, will find themselves amongst the top 4 or 5. It's going to
top
happen.
4?
Yes.
They're going to be hosting a playoff series at 9-12 right now.
Or unless they're in the 4 or 5 matchup. Either way. But they are one, in my opinion, they're one of the best 5 teams in the West.
If you asked me to pick 2 through 8 in the Western Conference at the end of the year, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. It's going to be fun to watch. Finally, this is a layup for you. I know this is one of your guys. The Magic have been pretty good, and leading the way is Nikola Vucevic. Your guy. 20.8 points, 55% from the field. Jalen Rose. Vucevic being a quiet superstar. Is that really real?
It's definitely really real. I've been trying to tell anybody who would listen. He plays in Orlando and they haven't had much success winning, but you can't ignore Fournier puts up numbers. Terrence Ross has played well. Aaron Gordon is a future star in the game. We've seen him perform in the dunk contest, but he actually improved his three-point shot where he's knocking that down. And Vucevic is an anchor down low. He can turn over both shoulders. He can score mid-range. He gets you double-digit rebounds. Like, when you look back at a lot of teams that Orlando has played so far this year, look at some of the numbers that he's put up against some of the top players in the game.
It's impressive. I would say that Vucevic is really real. The Magic are not really real. The Magic are going to be in the lottery. It's almost a guarantee.
Fair.
Jalen Rose, when you were a young man, did you ever get in trouble with the authorities?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Did you ever get in trouble with the police?
I did.
Well, Jaren Jackson, rookie for the Grizzlies, he was 11 years old when the FBI knocked on the door of the home. And they came. Do you know why they came? They were looking for little Jaren Jackson, when 11-year-old Jaren Jackson. They were looking for because he was on the internet downloading. Let's get this right. Lil Wayne albums, South Park, Family Guy, Transformers, and Scandal for his mom, which I thought was really nice. She probably didn't know how to use the torrents or whatever. So Jalen Rose, are you surprised that the FBI is knocking on people's doors because their kids are downloading Transformers?
I am surprised, especially as somebody who faithfully used LimeWire. Okay, downloaded songs. I would buy the projects too, so I don't have any shame in saying this. But LimeWire, man, you could get everything.
I was too dumb for LimeWire. I tried to figure it out. I couldn't even figure it out.
You can get videos, get songs.
They didn't come to his door, they called.
Oh, really?
I made it a little more dramatic, but still, that's a weird phone call to get.
That is.
One time the police called my home. Quick personal story. They called my home and my mom picked up and they said, "We're looking for David Jacoby. Is he there?" They said, "Yes." They're like, "We're going to come. He's the main suspect in an armed robbery." My mom was like, I don't think he did it. And they're like, "We're sure he did it. David Jacoby did it." And they're like, "I don't think he did it." My mom was like, "He's 8 years old." And he's upstairs. 2 David Jacobys in my town. The other one was getting in trouble though.
Clearly.
Moving on, DeAndre Ayton found himself in some trouble. He was, sometimes you get switched onto a small and you're a big, and that's the big thing in the NBA now, switch everything. Well, let's just take a look at DeAndre Ayton trying to stay in front of Darren Collison here. Oops!
No.
Oops! I mean, that was a classic. That wasn't even like a tripped over my foot thing, or like maybe he stepped on my foot. Like, that was a real fall down from a crossover.
That was a really OG broken ankle.
It really was. Jalen Rose, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on a basketball court?
Kobe scoring 81.
You didn't even have to think about that, did you?
But here's the thing. I'm proud of this. He didn't have terrific highlights in that game. It wasn't like.
I love that you're proud of this. You're proud of this. You're like,
I played basketball for 20 years. Do you realize how much footage you would show on this program if I was getting dunked on?
I have a challenge.
If I was getting crossed over?
I have a challenge for everybody that is watching this program. Jalen Rose claims that he has never been dunked on an NBA basketball court. We have
high school or
this
college
challenge before. Oh, ever?
Ever.
High school, college, NBA, please find some footage of Jalen Rose being dunked on. The one where Paul Pierce dunks and Jalen's behind him does not count. We'll give him that. Please, someone find this footage.
And that's what I'm proud of. I played a lot of basketball. I don't have no.
Doesn't sound like you played a lot of defense.
Think about it. Well, it depends on what team I was on.
Okay.
This is Ayton's first year. Okay? And he already gave us that. Just think about it now. Play a lot of games.
Well, there's an Irish soccer team called Ballybrack FC. You familiar with Ballybrack FC? Big fan?
I am.
Okay, good. Me too. They had a game, and they canceled their game because one of their players, Fernando Nuno La Fuente, passed away. And it was sad. They canceled the game. Fernando passed away. And then
what ended up happening is the league was like, oh man, we got to cancel this game. We'll make it up for him. They investigated. They reached out to his family because they wanted to give his family condolences. Turns out Fernando didn't pass away. He just went back to Spain for a couple weeks. What? They lied about Fernando passing away to get a game canceled. Jalen Rose, what do you think about the karmic implications of this?
This is unique. I've never heard of anything like that. This is terrible.
If I was Fernando, I'd be like, don't put that out there in the world.
Don't stage.
Don't put that out in the world.
Don't stage
Safe to say it's a soft move.
fatality to try to protect us from one game. It's just unrealistic.
If I was Fernando somewhere in another country, he's like, wait, what did you guys say?
Right.
You said I died?
Right.
I'd be very concerned if I was Fernando. It's time for News That Matters. South Koreans are stressed out, Jalen Rose. They're stressed out. Very, very rigorous work schedules, bother them. We get stressed at work. It happens. And they have rigorous very high standards for their academics. It stresses out the students. So what's happening is there are some people that are paying $90 a night to stay in a fake prison to get away from all the stress. $90 a night to stay in a fake prison. Jalen Rose, would you pay $90 a night to stay in a fake prison? Look at those people right there.
Not at all. But stress is a real thing.
Doesn't that look stressful, though?
Anxiety is a real thing, so we're not going to make fun of it in any way, shape, or form.
Of course.
However, I am not paying to be in a fake prison.
I bet you could get like a nice long spa treatment for $90. You know what I mean? Like you can get a massage, get a facial, get a jacuzzi. There's other ways to de-stress that are much better than that.
Maybe they just want to get out of the house.
I want to thank the Diplomats for coming by, get their new album.
Dipset.
We'll be back tomorrow. Why's Harris?
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.